Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I hope you're all having a good day. We're going to get started. I think everybody's joined us. So we're going to move on to our first slide. Nice to see you all. My name's Clarissa. I'm Clarissa Wheeler and the sales manager for the existing business team here at TQUK. And I'm also here with Chris Tubritt, who is our head of product development. We're here today to talk to you about our functional skills, as you know. We're going to talk about our existing functional skills offer and reintroduce that. We're also going to explain what entry-level mean and what entry-level functional skills we are soon to release. We're going to give an overview of that expanded offer. We're going to demonstrate how TQUK is here to support our current customers and potential new customers as well. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A and answer any of your questions. So we're just going to give you a bit of an introduction to start with. We're covering a little bit about our entry-level functional skills and what happened before that point. So we first went live with our current level 1 and level 2 functional skills in maths and English in February 2024. When we went live with functional skills, we went live with paper-based and online modes of assessment. And for the online assessment, we offer both centre invigilated and TQUK invigilated. When we say TQUK invigilated, what we mean by that is that learners can stick the assessment anywhere and any time, and we will remotely invigilate after the assessment, usually the same or the next day. Customers have told us that they love level 1 and level 2, so we wanted to extend this offer down to entry-level functional skills as soon as possible. Therefore, we have pushed on with the development of entry-level functional skills and have recently been approved by Ofqual to go live on the 2nd of February 2026. So next February, we will go live, ensuring we can offer the full suite of functional skills from entry level right through to level 1 and 2. As you can imagine, we've looked to adopt the same seamless and flexible approach to entry-level qualifications, and that's something that we will talk you through in this webinar. I'm going to hand over to Chris now to share some more detail.
Lovely. Thanks, Clarissa, and good morning, everyone. Okay, so on this slide, we'll cover off super briefly what we mean by functional skills. And essentially, functional skills offers learners a vocational pathway into English and maths with the flexibility to sit their assessments anytime. However, they are different to GCSEs, and a question we get quite often is what's the difference between the two? And quite simply, GCSEs are general qualifications known as GQs and taken at the end of compulsory school education and designed to give a broad knowledge of a subject and be a foundation for further study. Whereas functional skills are designed to equip learners with the practical English and math skills that they need to live, study and work, with an emphasis on real life and real world scenarios and problem solving rather than theory and understanding. So appreciating everybody will be quite familiar with functional skills and the differences between the two with GCSEs. We're going to push on to the next slide where we'll talk more briefly about entry levels. Okay, so again, I'm going to cover up what entry levels are very briefly, as I appreciate many providers on the call will be absolutely familiar with this already. But essentially in the UK, the DfE define our qualification levels at 9 set levels. So that's entry level and levels 1 to 8. However, entry-level qualifications are available at 3 sub-levels, and that's entry levels 1, 2, and 3. The purpose of entry-level qualifications is to provide fundamental knowledge and skills and act as a foundational step or progression into further education, training, or employment. These qualifications are designed for individuals with little or no prior formal education in a subject and often serve as a prerequisite for more advanced courses at level 1 and above. And finally, you can see on the screen a nice flow diagram at the bottom of the slide, which shows the levels in order of difficulty and level. So this starts with entry level 1, then entry level 2, entry level 3, up to levels 1 and 2. So in this slide, we're going to provide an overview of our product. The purpose of entry-level functional skills, as we've said, is primarily to prepare learners for work, study, and everyday life. The subject content within those qualifications is mapped to DfE specified content, which is underpinned across all awarding organisations' functional skills qualifications, and this also includes the learning aims and the outcomes the learners must achieve. Our qualification specifications are available on the website and provide full details of the subject content to be taught for every level of qualification. So just confirm that our qual specifications are currently available and live on our website at the minute. And then in terms of entry requirements, these qualifications are suitable for learners at age 14 and above. There are no specific entry requirements, but an initial assessment would be beneficial to determine a learner's starting level. And sometimes the initial assessment is also referred to as the diagnostic assessment, and they are both essentially the same thing. Okay, so continuing on with the product overview, we have some key facts on this slide to walk through. The first thing is the GLH, which is 55. And when we say GLH, we mean guided learning hours. And that's the same across all functional skills qualifications. And this is externally set by DfE's technical guidance. The next is TQT. And when we say TQT, we mean total qualification time. TQT is essentially the GLH, so the guided learning hours, plus whatever hours we deem reasonable that the learner may have undertaken or may need to undertake to prepare for an assessment. So in this case, we've set our TQT at 5 hours above the GLH. This is broadly on average right in the middle of the TQT range is currently available across all awarding organisations. So we're very much aligned to the sector on our TQT approach. Then on the registration fee, we've currently set this at £16, which includes both the registration and the certification. And this is something we've undertaken extensive competitor research on, where we've looked at to set that at a very competitive fee against other functional skills providers. In terms of funding, our entry-level functional skills will be funded in the same way any other functional skills qualifications will be. So they will be funded for 14 to 16 year olds, 16 to 19 year olds as part of study program funding, adult learners, but also through apprenticeship funding. And for the assessment, we're going to cover this off in more detail in the next few slides, but as a high-level overview, our entry-level functional skills are all internally assessed only. And finally, these qualifications are eligible for DCS. And when we say DCS, we mean direct claim status, and this can be transferred from an existing DCS with other providers too. On this slide, we'll talk you through an overview of the assessment approach for our entry-level functional skills, which are all internally assessed and marked by the centre and then externally quality assured by the EQA team at TQUK. So starting off with English first then, learners must achieve a pass grade in 3 mandatory assessment components, which is the writing test, the reading test, and the SLC test. So that's speaking, listening, and communication test. The writing test is 45 to 55 minutes long, and the marks allocation ranges from 30 to 40 marks. The reading test is 35 to 40 minutes long, with the marks allocation 10 to 80 marks. And then the SLC test, which is the speaking, listening, and communication test, is 10 to 20 minutes. However, it does not have any marks allocation as it is a simple pass-fail grading criteria structure. And this test typically includes a one-to-one or group discussion. And then just a final note that the minute duration and the marks allocation are fixed per level. What we've just shown the ranges on the slide, they span from entry levels 1 to 2. So you can see the range for assessment duration and marks allocation that can be expected from one level to the next. Okay, so moving on to maths next then. Learners must achieve a pass grade in a single mandatory assessment component, although this assessment component is split into 2 sections. So section A is the non-calculator part of the test and comprises of 20 to 30 minutes in duration and 6 to 10 marks allocation. And this section represents 25% of the total marks of section A and B combined. Section B is the calculator part of the test, which represents 75% of the total marks, which will have 65 to 70 minutes in duration with a marks allocation of 18 to 13 marks. And again, those durations are just to show what it spans from entry level 1 to level 3. The marks and duration will be fixed per level. And just to note that at entry level, section A and section B test papers are available as separate tests and can be sat separately. The reason for this is that the total time duration could range from 85 minutes up to 105 minutes for entry level 3. And therefore, depending on the level, and therefore, given this is a very long duration for any entry level learner to sit one test in a single sort of duration, therefore, to ease this burden, we do permit that section A and section B tests can be taken separately. Where this is administered in this way, marks on both sections will be added together to give an overall total mark for the one assessment component. Okay, so moving on to the assessment availability section then, we will have available 4 assessments per year for each level. These will be all externally set assessments, and they must change every year as per DfE's technical guidance on this, and therefore we will not be accepting any provider CDAs. When we say CDAs, we mean Centre Devised Assessments for Entry-Level Functional Skills. All 4 assessments will be made available to approved providers and centres on our VERF platform. Then centres can access these all at once to have flexibility to choose how and when to deliver them in accordance with learners who are ready to sit them and resit assessments. So by that, you can access them as an approved centre at the start of the programme, and you can pick and choose when you want to deliver them at your own convenience. And like most of our internally assessed portfolio, centres will need to go through external quality assurance with TQUK to sample any internal assessments to ensure they are being effectively delivered for quality assurance. Okay, in terms of the support materials, we have the following available. Qualification specifications, which are available now and live on the website. We also have qualification fact sheets, again available now and on the website. And these can be used for careers events, option evenings, opening evenings, etc. And basically, they provide a qualification summary in a nice bite-sized format. All assessments will be externally set and be made available to any approved centres. We have a key date schedule which will inform when we release new assessment materials each year. We will have learning resource materials provided through our third-party learning resource providers. So one of them, for example, is LCG, which is the Learning Curve Group. And typically, there is a charge for these materials, but with that charge, you can expect to get a more advanced overview of materials. However, we also then do have 3 learning resource materials with another third-party provider called PASS Functional Skills. And then additionally, with PASS Functional Skills, anyone who's delivering our functional skills will also get access to a free diagnostic tool and assessment. So that's free access to the diagnostic tool and assessment. And that's otherwise known as the initial assessment tool or the diagnostic tool. And essentially, this conducts a pre-screening test for any learners and informs essentially what level of qualification they should typically be enrolled on. I'm now going to hand this back over to Clarissa for the next slide.
Thanks, Chris. So in terms of the exam system, this is more applicable to level 1 and level 2 for English and maths, but we just wanted to briefly talk about it because it does have some great features. So that includes a secure browser. This is where the learners can download a secure web browser onto their device, and the software locks their browser so that they can't view any other sites whilst they take their assessment. The next feature I'm going to mention is the room sweep and identification that happens prior to the exam. We'll take a room sweep of the learner's environment. It's conducted to demonstrate compliance with the exam conditions, and this also captures their ID as proof of their identity. And finally, we're just going to mention that we have guidance materials which provide both centres and learners with clear and written guidance to help them understand how the platform works. A couple of smart benefits that we also offer that we wanted to mention here is that learners can book onto the exam and sit their exam anywhere and any time without being confined to a specified date and time. And we also have options available for the online exam that can be remotely invigilated by us, which we've already mentioned. So for that remote invigilation, we do this after the exam. So no messing about trying to book one of our invigilators in. Essentially, the exam session is recorded and we remotely invigilate this afterwards, which truly allows learners to sit anywhere and anytime without booking complications. Just to touch on that sitting anywhere, anytime experience, our services do go beyond to ensure that we help learners to perform at their very best. So we have a system test for learners to ensure they can check before the exam that everything is set and working okay. We have a practice test where the learner can familiarise themselves with the exam system, how to navigate from one question to another, and familiarise themselves with the type of questions they may face. Just to emphasise this, we've included a quote here on this slide from one of our customers, from partners in Bristol, who have commented on the flexibility of the system, how this really caters to their learning needs. It also mentioned that our administrative processes are seamless, helping everything run as smoothly as possible and to ensure we get results out as fast as possible too. And a quick note on that, obviously we've mentioned earlier that our results are within 6 working days, but we do at the moment, we're performing well in excess of that. I average that actually that's as little as 3 to 4 days for the release of a result. Chris has already talked a little bit about some of these points, but our mock platform, I know that we're veering slightly away from entry-level functional skills here, because again, this is for our level 1 and 2 qualifications, but we also wanted to just promote the fact that we have a mock platform that we're releasing. We understand that learners who undertake mock assessments on paper sometimes struggle when undertaking an online assessment. So therefore, we've listened to this feedback and developed an online mock assessment portal with our partner, Pass Functional Skills. We're aiming for this to go live at the same time as entry-level functional skills next year. This mock assessment portal will be totally free, as Chris mentioned, for anyone doing functional skills with TQUK, or in fact through Pass Functional Skills as well. What's great about this is they can have access to mock assessments as often as they like, and it also uses AI to auto-mark the mock assessment and even provide feedback on areas requiring improvement. We recognise this will be a game changer for saving time spent on marking mock assessments when preparing learners. The platform also allows you to do a deep dive into learner and cohort performance on mocks, and identify any trends in subject content areas where teaching and learning could be developed to support. So we only have a few slides left, stay with me. On this slide, we sought to provide a nice summary table, nice and easy to visualise here, for the full suite of our English and Maths functional skills, from entry level through to levels 1 and 2, of all the resources and materials that we will have available. So with that in mind, we will have mock papers, sample assessment materials available for download for our levels 1 and 2. The reason we don't have these for entry level is that they are all internally assessed, and therefore customers use the externally set assessments available for download on our Verve platform. The Verve platform is for any of our approved centres. We have a key dates schedule, which explains when new assessment materials will go live and when they'll be retired. We have free learning resources available for all levels, and also paid for learning resources that have already been mentioned through third-party resource providers, Learning Curve Group and Pass Functional Skills. With Pass Functional Skills, you also get a free diagnostic tool for entry levels 1, 2 and 3, as well as a free online mock assessment platform for levels 1 and 2. And again, for levels 1 and 2, we have a 6-day results turnaround, a unique online exam platform not available from any other provider, in which we provide those online assessments with centre invigilation, or our unique TQUK invigilation solution, which allows those learners to sit anywhere and anytime. In addition to this, we also have something called definitive pass and fail result release. So what we mean by this is, for levels 1 and 2, when we introduce new papers at the beginning, there's normally an awarding period for approximately 5 or 6 weeks where we don't issue results because we're quality checking all the data. This is standard across all functional skills awarding organisations. It's an off-qual requirement. However, unique to TQUK, what we actually do is during the awarding period, if there is a definitive pass or fail result, though the marks are well clear of the boundary pass mark, we don't hold the results, we release them during that awarding window. So we can ensure that we release as many results as possible in a timely manner to support progression for your learners. If you want more information on this, please refer to our key dates schedule, which is on our website. Finally, we also have available the qualifications, specifications, and fact sheet. Just one final note on this, that level 1 and 2 is live now, and as we mentioned earlier, all entry levels will be added into the suite for the go live of the 2nd of February in the new year. We're just going to talk a little bit about the support we do offer. I think you'll be pleased to see that one of the key, or two of the key points here are around exactly what you've just mentioned there. So I'm just going to summarise our key benefits and the support that TQUK centres get with us. I appreciate at the beginning there were a few people who said they don't use us at the moment. If you were to choose to use us, obviously this is the same support you would get that a lot of our centres already get from us. So you get a dedicated account manager who can support with your curriculum planning, new qualification uptake. They have industry knowledge and they're there as a point of contact for any problems. You have access to our dedicated customer support team who can help with queries around registrations, certifications, any other operational queries that you need. You also have access to our resources on our website, all those different things we've been talking about in the previous few slides. You don't need to log in. They're not behind some kind of wall. They're available for you to look at immediately. So please do go onto our website and have a look at our functional skills page to access those. We also have the multiple resources that we've already mentioned, including the free mock platform, the anytime, anywhere online assessments and remote invigilation. And we always listen to your feedback, as demonstrated when we mentioned the fact that we've added entry-level functional skills to our portfolio after having listened to our customers about what they were hoping for. I hope that gives you a good flavour of lots of different aspects of our offer and TQUK ourselves as well. I'm now going to hand over to Thomas, who is going to run our Q&A session. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Carissa, and thank you, Chris. Thank you to everyone who's joined us today. There is a Q&A button at the top of your screen where you can drop any questions in that you'd like me to pose to Carissa or Chris. So while you kind of have a chance to get your questions in, we're going to go through a couple of questions that have been pre-submitted ahead of the webinar. So starting off, I think we'll probably go over to Chris for this one, just in case anyone missed that. So how many assessment versions are available for entry level?
Lovely. Thanks, Thomas. And yes, just to confirm, for every level, we will have 4 assessments available per level, and they'll all be released at once for centres who can access this via our Verve platform. So that's for approved centres who can all have access to this, and learners will have up to 4 attempts per year with flexibility to deliver those assessments how and when they see fit. So we won't release them in quarterly stages. We'll release them all at the start of the academic year. We'll change them every year, and centres will have freedom to deliver them how they see fit.
Great. Thank you, Chris. A question probably again for Chris here from Sarah. Is there any opportunity for SLC exemptions for learners?
There is, absolutely is, in the same way we do for our level 1, level 2. We just need to see that exemption submitted through, and we'll review each one independently, depending on the needs of that. So that is already currently in place for our level 1, level 2 English. It will absolutely be in place for our entry-level functional skills as well.
Great, thank you. A question from Sarah Griffiths. Are there any time restrictions to consider if sitting section A and B of the entry maths papers separately?
So we do cover this off within our delivery support materials. So we do put in place flexibilities because we understand that sometimes things can run over, particularly with entry-level assessments. So that is permitted, and we do give the sort of the guidance and instructions on that within our delivery support guidance, which is also available on the website.
Great, thank you, Chris. Question here from Laura. It was mentioned that we can access free resources through a third-party provider. Could you repeat who this is again and how we access these resources?
Yes, certainly. So if you are delivering your functional skills with us or via PASS Functional Skills, that's who the third party resource provider is. It's PASS Functional Skills. Through either them themselves or with us, you'll be given access to the platform where you can access all the learn resources. And you'll be given that information once you become an approved centre to be able to access all those materials. So yeah, it's PASS Functional Skills where the free resources will be available.
Great, thank you. Question here from Sarah. Are we able to register entry learners prior to the going live date?
We won't be able to do that, unfortunately. So you'll be able to do your registrations with effect on the 2nd of February. The materials will be available hopefully just after Christmas, so you can start looking at the materials in terms of the schemes of work, the specifications, the assessments that can be available in advance, but you won't be able to make registrations until the 2nd of February.
Okay. How does the exemption process work for the speaking and listening in level 1 and level 2?
It's quite a detailed process given the nature of exemptions and how sort of cross-cutting that is. So it might be appropriate to go into the exact detail, but if we can maybe take a note of that individual, what we can do is we can send the link to the actual exemption criteria and the guidance documents on our website. So they're available on our website, but maybe we can follow up that directly, Thomas, and send the specific guidance to the centre in question.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, Sarah Perrott, we'll get in touch with you just after the webinar. We'll point you in the right direction about how to get that information. Please do keep your questions coming in. We're going to have probably a few more minutes, a few more questions that we can answer. So do fire them in. Chris, could you go into maybe a bit more detail about the definitive pass and fail results release for the level 1 and 2?
I certainly can. So at the start of each new exam paper cycle, TQUK continues to conduct an awarding process to determine the pass mark on real learner responses and performances. And while this process traditionally takes 5 to 6 weeks, we now issue definitive pass-fail results approximately 2 weeks after the new papers are introduced. So this has been made possible through the use of comparative and historical data to establish an awarding parameter range. For example, in level 2 functional skills maths, which is out of 60 marks, a typical pass mark range might range between 33 to 36 as a pass mark range. So we now apply a range that extends 2 or 3 marks either side of this range, allowing scores outside of that range to be treated as definitive pass or fail. So learner scripts with scores within the range continue to be reviewed as part of the full awarding process because they're close to the boundary marks, whilst those clearly above or below the range receive an early outcome following a short quality assurance exercise included from the chief examiners and so on. And so what this means to centres really is that centres and learners receive results more critically, typically within 2 weeks of a new paper's introduction and release. And this supports faster progression for learners and enables centres to plan more effectively, essentially. So this process is now fully embedded, forms part of TQUK's ongoing commitment to timely and reliable results and continuous service improvement. And the feedback we've had from providers is that this new process has been an absolute game changer, particularly for learners needing results fast and where an awarding window might be in place, and that might be a bit of a difficult and challenge. So just to contextualize that was in play for August, September, where we had a lot of learners who needed very timely results to be able to progress to university applications. And that process supported a lot of learners during that process to get a result in as little as 1 to 2 days from sitting an assessment. So yeah, if you want more information on that, you can find the specifics in a well articulated and described sort of process within our key date schedule, which is available on our website now.
Brilliant, thank you. Probably got time for a couple more questions, so do fire them in. I can see we've got another question from Sarah regarding the booking confirmation email. So, Sarah, we'll be able to follow up. We'll get your account manager to get in touch with you after this, where we'll be able to talk through a bit more detail about the booking confirmation email and some of the registration process. We do have lots of guidance videos on our YouTube, so there's plenty of examples there about how to register learners on Verve, how to book those exams, and how to sort out the invigilation as well. But speaking of booking exams, Chris, do the entry-level assessments need to be booked?
No is the short answer on that. So as I mentioned before, centres will have access to all the assessment materials. They can download them all in one go, and they can deliver them at a time and a point that they see fit. And naturally, it will be aligned to their cohort of learners. Learners may be prepared or ready for assessments at different points in the year, so they can flexibly manage when they sit and deliver. So the centres will fully administer the assessment at a time that is convenient to themselves.
Fantastic. Do entry learners still need to sit a spelling test for writing? And if so, is the spelling list the same as another AO?
So there is a recognized list of spelling words that are acceptable, and that's available at different entry levels, but there's no separate spelling test. The spelling is kind of embedded within the writing and the English test at entry levels. So there's no separate spelling test as part of the entry level examination assessments.
Great, thank you very much. And we've probably got time for maybe one more question. So how many awarding windows do TQUK have in place for levels 1 and 2 in any given year?
as a starting point in terms of awarding windows, we started off with 4 windows in a year, and this was more due to, of course, expectations with us being new to functional skills. But over this year, we went down to 3 windows, and we've been able to reduce that. And what you'll see from now going forward is that every year we'll only have 2 awarding windows in a given year. And this is all published in our key date schedule on the website. So we started off with 4 last year. We've reduced that down to 3 windows a year. And because we've made good progress with that, we're now able to move forward from now going forward into 2 windows per year. So, for example, next year, I think if you look at the key date schedule for online assessments, I think the first window will be March, and then the next window will be September. So again, all those dates can be found in our key date schedule on the website.
Brilliant. Thank you. And I think that's probably it for the questions now. So thank you all for coming. We do really appreciate your time. If you would like to discuss our functional skills offer in any more detail, please do just email the business.development@tqk.org email address. If you're looking for technical support, that's going to be support@tqk. If you've got any kind of further questions that maybe haven't come to you at this point as well, please do either get in touch with your account manager if you're a current customer. If you're not sure who that is, do get in touch with the business development email as well. This recording is going to be made available, so that will be emailed to you in a few days' time along with a survey. So please do let us know your thoughts on the webinar, and if you want to give any feedback on the support materials we have on offer or anything else to do with functional skills. So thank you all very much. I'll let you all go and probably have your lunch now. We're approaching 12 o'clock. So thank you all for your time. We'll see you very soon.